everyone, and welcome back to the A to B podcast. I am your host, Albert Ramos, and today we have a special occasion. We're down here in downtown San Diego. We got a special invite from our guest. He has an amazing view out of his balcony, and we're going to show you that. We're going to make sure that you guys see that right now. Yeah, Look at that amazing view that you guys are looking at right now. That's the Coronado Bridge, and this is downtown San Diego, guys. Like always, I am joined by my co-host, which is sitting to my left-hand side right now, Barry Bull. What's up, Barry?
But you did point with your right hand.
I did, because I'm holding it. I'm holding the mic today. This is the power mic right here.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, bro.
I haven't seen you since Valentine's Day.
I know. What was that? This Wednesday?
Yeah.
And then
what did you do? Did you do something nice for Valerie?
Yeah, I did. I gave
Valerie,
her,
you're not allowed to comment.
Yeah, I gave her. No, I did something nice for her. I gave her a full day massage envy, like full treatment for her entire body and face.
Yeah.
So she
what's
can't
wrong with her face?
No, like microtherming or whatever.
That's what I felt.
I don't know. I just went in there. I just went in there and I said, "Listen, I just went in there and I said like."
I love you though.
I just went in there and I said, listen, just give me whatever the fuck. It's the best thing for the wife. And then they just ended up hooking it up.
Dude, I can see you. Just, you know what?
Yeah, I don't get political. I'm apolitical. But guys, today we are joined by two of our special guests. Two active duty Marines that are currently in the drill field. Now, I've been getting the reason why I wanted to invite you guys. First of all, welcome.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity.
The reason why I wanted to invite you guys to the podcast is because I've been getting a lot of messages, just like I'm sure that you guys have been getting a lot of messages on like, hey, I'm a Marine that's about to go to boot camp, what to expect. Or I'm a future Marine that's about to boot camp, that's what I meant. Or I'm a Marine that's about to put a package for drill instructor duty. You two are two of the people that are not afraid to speak out, and give it the realness to the people. So we just wanted to have a conversation with you guys, get your background, and then see if you guys can help out a couple of Marines along the way.
Of course.
I got tons of questions for these guys.
Oh, I know you do because listen,
I'm gonna
ruin it for him. Time out. I'm gonna ruin it for him.
Yeah.
They're in MCRD San Diego. Okay, so because I know he's already gonna position. So you guys are real drill instructors then? Not gonna happen. Ruined. Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
This is what I have to deal with, and here's the deal. Nobody's interviewing parasailing drill instructors for a reason.
Oh my God.
Okay.
He's super probably silent though.
Gosh, no, he's not. He's not. He's born again, converted. Okay. Gosh.
So
Albert.
so Abe and Jasmine,
Yes.
can you talk to us? Let's start with Jasmine, since you're the farthest away. Can you give us a little bit of background of how long you've been in, and what made you join the Marine Corps?
Yes. So I've been in the Marine Corps for 12 years, going on 13. I enlisted in 2011. What made me join the Marine Corps, I graduated early from high school. So I did try out the whole college thing. As ironic as it sounds, all I saw was like old people because I was like 17.
Yeah.
So I was like, what are 40-year-olds doing in college? Like, what are we doing? This is not the life I want to live, right? And I came from a background where I'm from the Bay Area, so it's not the best place of all, right? It was rough growing up with a single mom. So seeing how independent, strong, and the struggle that she had to go through, I feel like I owed everything to my mother to begin with, So my mom did not want me to join the Marine Corps because, what do Hispanic parents think? They're going to war. Oh my gosh, and at
we
that time.
We talked about that. That's so funny.
And at that time, Afghanistan, Iraq, all of that was going on. So she's like, no, like, I don't want you going. The whole time for 11 months, I was in a Poolee program.
Oh, wow.
And they did not know.
Oh,
wow, really?
They did not know because I knew they were going to like shut it down real quick. And they're like, no. So I was like, you know what?
Really?
I was still going to college. Don't get me wrong. I was like, I'm tutoring people here and there. So that's where I'm at while I'm PTing with the Poolee program.
Oh.
Right? Then I had to tell them because I wasn't 18 and I needed a signature. I was like, how am I supposed to ship if I can't get that signature. Wow. So I let my recruiter know, and my recruiter's like, hey, what if I get a like Mexican recruiter to come and help? Like, you know, and they have a little bond. I was like, yeah, I think you should do that. I was like, that would be the best, you know?
Yeah.
So when I told them 2 weeks before shipping, my mom just started bawling. She's like, no, like, you know, eventually I was like, hey, can you come and talk to the recruiters at the recruiting station and they'll tell you everything about it. You know, like the college, I will still be in college. I can still do this and I can still do that. It's a lot of great benefits. Eventually she's like, look, I'm gonna have to let you go. At 18, you're gonna sign yourself regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, so she's like, here's the signature and this is what you wanted for your life. And I was like, at the end of the day, I was there to make my family proud, but I just couldn't see myself staying in the Bay Area. One, most likely I was going to get pregnant and work at McDonald's. Let's be honest. It wasn't the type of female, but that's the kind of environment that it was. There was really no possibilities out there or opportunities unless you went to college and you had the money for college, you know, for tuition. I think my mother's one of the biggest inspirations on why I joined the Marine Corps, just to not pay back everything she did, but that's why I still keep going, just to retire her one day, hopefully soon, you know.
Hell yeah.
And make it happen for her.
Why the Marine Corps though? Like, I know you're saying, okay, the college life wasn't for you, but like, was there a moment that you can remember where it was like,
yes,
military, yes, Marine Corps? What?
Okay, so how it worked out, I only had one class, which was my government class. And my recruiter came in and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm fit. All I saw was those motivational videos, right? Obstacle courses, all this. I was like, oh, that could be my daily life. I was like, I can definitely do that every single day. So then my government teacher's like, no, like you're too pretty to do that. You wear too much makeup to do that. Like you're not going to make it.
Your teacher told you that?
Yeah. That right there, because I was very smart. So my English teacher's like, don't throw away your opportunity to go to UC Davis. Don't do that. To join the military. He's like, you're too smart for it. When someone told me no, I'm like, I'm gonna come back in my blues and show you that I can become a Marine because I wear makeup or because I'm pretty. And then
I just want you guys to know the amount of times that she nodded emphatically right there. I believe her 100%.
And then on top of that, I never looked at the Army. No offense, love all the branches, but I'm like, if I'm gonna go into the military branch, I'm gonna go into the hardest heavy hitter branch, the elite, which is the Marine Corps. That's what I want to be known for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, you want to be a badass female, and that's and that's why you joined the Marine Corps. Okay. How was you mentioned and again, they're drill instructors. I know the intimacies of being a recruiter. So there is some weirdness based on what you were saying. The weirdness is you were in the delayed entry program for 11 months, where you can be up to 13 months. So that's great. But the problem is you cannot be in the delayed entry program until your parents actually sign the paperwork.
Well, I don't know what they finessed, but okay, I was...
No, because you can still train with the pool program. You can still train with like all that stuff.
So you're saying they just like made her think she was in the dep, and then
I think that's what happened.
And then they just backloaded the paperwork at the last minute.
Think about it. Like you know how hard it is to get a female that's fit, that can pass the ASVAB, that is a freaking badass and wants to do all the badass stuff in the Marine Corps. That's like the hardest thing to find. And because there's a lot of females that are interested, but not a lot of females pass the physicality of boot camp. You know? So that's why, and specifically now where you have to be doing pull-ups. Back in the day, you didn't have to be doing
the arm hang.
Well, yeah. How are you so fit? Did you play sports?
Yeah. So growing up, I started off in karate, then I did kickboxing, and I played soccer my whole life.
So don't step. Don't step, all right?
Now, Abe, let's go to you, brother.
Well, I was born and raised in Egypt. I moved to the States and I was 14. It was July, or about to be 14. It was July 19th of 2010.
Wow.
My dad has been living in the States for over 10 years. So when my younger brother and I moved here, we got our citizenship through my dad. And then my plan was to just go to college for... However, I always loved music, so I was playing drums. I had like a state competition coming up my senior year, and the recruiter walked in his blues, you know, like, hey, are you interested in joining the Marine Corps, blase, blase. Like, we have like a program for music. I was like, no, thank you. Like, what the fuck is some kid from Egypt, you know, gonna do join the Marine Corps. I'm like, what the hell is a Marine Corps, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever. So, and in Egypt, the army or active duty is just one army. There isn't like branches.
Oh, okay.
And it's mandatory service for 3 years.
Really?
So my dad has also, my dad like never joined the military, whatever. He left the room. I guess he talked to the band director to like ask him if he can come and talk to us. I walked in at the time, great guy, Mr. Cesarowski, who was my mentor when I was in high school. I was talking to him like, this guy's trying to make me join the Marine Corps, you know? And this man had his master's in music science from MSU, Michigan State University. Great school. And then he goes, you know, like if I can go back in the day, that's like one regret I have. I'd make sure I was in better shape and I would join the Marine Corps, like Drum and Bugle Corps, or like I joined the Marine Corps band, and showed me a bunch of their videos. I was like, wow, that's interesting. So I found a recruiter in the cafeteria, I talked to him, and I was like, so you're telling me I can play drums for 20 years as my job and just retire? And he's like, yes. Like, can you run, whatnot? I was a really good runner. I was like, yeah, you know. So showed up to the pool leave function, whatever, audition, made my audition. I had a ship out date for, it was like a year later. At this point, I've been out of high school for a year. By the time I signed in and all that. So it was like March, and then the following July, I was going to ship out. And I went to a pool leave function, and my dumbass saw drill instructors there. And I was like, God damn. I was like, it's just like their presence, like how they looked, how they just literally moved the entire room. Like whenever, even the recruiter was just kind of like, you know?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to be that. So I went to my recruiter.
Well, yeah, because recruiters don't want you to get too crazy, right? Because you don't want you to get too crazy on the poolies, because then you're going to scare some people off.
I thought it was great. It was sleeves up season. This
Yeah.
motherfucker was at least benching 315. I was like,
Okay.
I need to go.
Okay, but you came from Egypt. Let's back up a little bit. You came from Egypt. How much different was life here than in Egypt? Like,
Very different. So my dad moved out when I was 4, and he went to the States, and he got in a really bad car accident, which then allowed him to stay longer on a medical visa. And then from there, because like when he went back to Egypt to visit 4 years later, it was really bad for his health. So when he went back, he was able to get his green card and his citizenship all through that because of medical reasons. And so I pretty much just grew up with my mom, my brother, and myself. And then my dad would support us. Like he was still like in the picture, would call him here and there, all that stuff. But I'd only visit like every few years, you know, that type of thing. And the only way for us to move to the States if my mom gave up custody for like of my brother and I.
Oh, wow.
So she ended up giving up. She was just like, you know, obviously like we're her kids. That's the only thing that she has. And then she was just like, well, if you guys move to the States, this is going to be better for you. And once you move to the States, then you guys are going to work on bringing me to the States. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Now that I did the whole process, it's way harder than that. And we're like, okay, we're just kids. We don't know. I was 13. My brother was 12. And my mom gave up custody of us. And then she gave 100% custody to my dad.
Wow, that's crazy.
wow.
To make sure that we had a better future, you know, and that's a sacrifice.
That's a sacrifice. That's a huge
Back
sacrifice.
then, I didn't understand, but now that I look at it, as I grew older, I was like, I'm gonna do everything in my power to get my mom over to the States, you know, because in Egypt it's not like the best, you know, it's not like you know, they're not in poverty, but it's not the best, you know, the dollar goes much further over there, you know.
What language do they speak over there?
Arabic.
Okay.
So and that's one of the questions that I wanted to ask you. So you came here to the States. How old were you?
I was about to be 14.
So you were about to be 14. Did you speak English by that time?
Nope. The only English that I knew is, you know how here they teach Spanish in school?
Yeah.
Yep.
So in Egypt they have the same thing, but for English, and it's a mandatory. So language arts, math, and English are 3 required classes every single semester. So all I knew was just like certain words, and I said them. You know, I sounded like I worked at the 7-Eleven whenever I said
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's like, what's up, brother? What's cracking lacking?
Exactly, you know. So to me it was very different. I was supposed to be.
He's not working at the swap meet. Come on, bro. You baller, shot caller.
My name is Jay.
He doesn't
my
own
name
a
is Jack.
7-Eleven.
Hey, no, that's funny. Okay, but yeah,
So
keep
yeah,
going.
so we came to the States and all that trash. Didn't know any English. I was supposed to be in high school, but they're like, hey, we should have them redo 8th grade so they can like learn the language a little bit better.
Yeah.
Didn't learn shit, but it was just.
So you stayed behind a year.
Yeah, because I was ahead. I was ahead a year in Egypt, right?
Oh,
and then so I was the youngest in my class, and then when I moved here, I went back a year. That way, I'm not just going like thrown into the wolves like in high school.
Yeah, but they have ESL classes. I'm pretty sure you took ESL, English as your second language. Classes?
Yes,
You took
but I just couldn't speak fluently. My grammar was decent,
okay.
but I couldn't speak fluently whatsoever. And it was just very different because over there, the public schools, it's not like, it's so different. You don't have
Yeah, yeah,
classes.
yeah.
You just sit in the same, it's like a bench about as big as this, it's probably smaller than this couch right here. You know, three of you sit in it, and then you have your bag with all your books in it right between your legs, and it has like a little like cubby in it. And you just sit there all day from 7:30 in the morning all the way until 3 in the afternoon. And
Wow.
the teachers rotate. You don't have lockers, you don't have nothing. So back then, like, they would beat us in school, you know, like, you know how like heavy recruits like lock out their war bags and stuff like that. If you didn't show up with your homework, you stood in a corner in a room holding your backpack with all your books like locked out, you know.
So in other words, you've been trained your entire life to be a drill instructor. You've been trained your entire life.
I remember one time I talked back to my mom. She slapped the shit out of me. I went to school. I had a little hand mark on my face. My language arts teacher asked me, she's like, "Why do you have that?" I was like, "Oh, my mom hit me." Like, "Why?" "Because I said this and this and that." "You said what? You said that to your mom?" "Yes." Smacked me around the other side. And that's just how I wish I could go back and find her, because I promise you, I'll get mine back. But that's just how it was. So when I moved here, obviously you don't have that here, you know. You don't have the whole restrictions of like males, females, you know, like the teachers are very friendly. You have a cafeteria. We don't have that in Egypt. You know, all we did was just freaking go to school, and when we have recess for like 20 minutes, we'll crush up a freaking soda can and we'll play soccer, you know, like, and that was it.
Wow.
Very simple life. I just walked back to school. We didn't have a car. We didn't have nothing. Just public transportation, because I'm in Cairo, so it's very busy.
Yeah.
And then if you had a car, you were like up there, you know, like middle class people didn't have cars.
Wow.
Sure.
Expensive, whatever it is.
And then you come here and you're like, whoa.
Like, shit, I can get my driver's license. Yeah, it was just so different because of the freedom aspect, you know, and that made me appreciate it so much more.
Appreciate freedom.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, if you could say something to people out there, what would you say to them about that? You know, everybody's real political in today's day and age. What would you say to people about freedom coming from a foreign country like that?
You know, everyone bitches and complains about the United States, but you never really know how good it is until you leave the United States. I think if you're hating on our country, you know, that's because of ignorance. And then you're very close-minded because, you know, I've been blessed to travel so much, you know, in the Marine Corps and on my own on leave and stuff like that. And I'm like, damn, like, we live in the best goddamn country. Like, hands down, I'm sorry. Like, and I'm not even from here, you know. Eventually, I want to write a book about it, you know. But just, like, the perspective is so different because people just don't understand, and people are entitled. Especially nowadays, you see with recruits, you see with, like, parents, you know, which that makes sense. Like, it makes sense why this recruit is like that, because his parents are just like that. People just don't understand how good the country, even at its worst, even when gas was $7 a freaking gallon, we have cars, you know. At least we have that. I don't have to wait, you know, for whatever long. I don't have to be like harassed. Like, if you're a female, you don't have to worry about getting harassed on public transportation. All those things, you know. I mean, obviously it depends on where you're at in the country, but we have that freedom, and people just underestimate it because they're used to it. They grew up in it, you know. And then once you live somewhere else that's not as clean, not as dirty, you don't have as many opportunities. You know, I have friends in Egypt still that have master's degrees, and what are they doing? They're still living with their parents because they have no opportunity. Wow. All they have is just a degree in a drawer, and that's it.
And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you was, so you are going through the delayed entry program.
Yes.
For those of you guys that don't know, we speak about it pretty frequently, but when you join the Marine Corps, we have something that's called the delayed entry program, and that is to help you, to prepare you mentally and physically for you to be able to go through recruit training. Now, one of the aspects I'm very curious to hear about you is, so since you're coming from Egypt, did you had a green card coming over here?
No, I had my citizenship because my dad was already a citizen.
Okay, so you already had your citizenship.
Yeah, so as soon, because we were so here in the States, if you're like if you're a citizen, right, and then your kids move or immigrate to the States and they're under 18, they automatically get their citizenship because of you.
I didn't
So
know
my
that.
dad didn't bring us over until he had his citizenship. Therefore, we could have ours when we get here.
Okay,
Nice.
so how complicated was it for you? How big of a deal did your recruiter and essentially the recruiting station made your what's called your SF-81, which is your background check? Was that difficult for you at all, or was?
No, the biggest thing is like I had to just resign my Egyptian citizenship. I couldn't be a dual citizen for my clearance.
Okay.
So
okay,
I just
okay.
gave it up. My parents got mad. I was like, "What the fuck with that? Who fucking cares?" You know?
Yeah.
So I just resigned my Egyptian.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure as soon as you got here to the States, you have probably had no intentions of going back to live in Egypt, correct? Okay, cool. Now, Jasmine, I want to go back to you. You went, regardless if you're from the Bay Area, back when you still went to boot camp, you still had to go to Paris Island.
Yes.
Okay. What were was your recruiter male or female?
Male.
Okay, so he was a male. How did he prepare you to go to boot camp?
Ooh. So honestly, I think they veered off the fact that I was physically fit. So they just wanted me to become like the honor grad, like the female guide honor grad. They're like, you have a great chance. You're flex arm, HAMA, all these things. They didn't really mentor us in a sense of drill instructors are going to be like this. They're going to scream at you, or you need to have your bun nice and tight, or because it was an all male recruiting station, there were no females around, even female Marines. So they didn't really know much, or maybe they didn't really have connections on this is boot camp, you know? They would tell us like, hey, you guys need to be physically fit, but that's about it. It was, I was going into the unknown.
Did you have a mental picture of what boot camp was going to be like though?
No.
Okay. So when you got there, day one, Paris Island, well, when we go through receiving first,
Yes.
but then when you meet your drill instructors, your in processing is done, you're sitting on the quarterdeck.
Yeah. I was shocked. I was like, this is what I signed up for, you know, because once again, going back to the video, wow, that looks amazing. Obstacle courses and stuff. That's what I thought, right? Yeah. But when I sat on the deck, I was like, what are they saying? Like, what? I just looked at them and I was so shocked.
Yeah, because it speaks so fast, huh?
Yeah, and one of the drill instructors stood out to me, and that's when I decided in my head, wow, I want to come back and do that because of that.
Wow, day one.
Because of that certain female drill instructor that stepped 1-2. As soon as I saw her do the 1-2, and
what was her name?
Drill instructor Sergeant Serta.
What was your recruiter's name? That's the bullshit I'm talking about. That's the fucking bullshit I'm talking about.
He was Staff Sergeant Miguel at that time.
Do you see this? 11 months with the fucking recruiter. 11 months. And then, oh, I don't want to be a recruiter. I don't want to be like my recruiter. I don't want to be like my recruiter.
She was hanging out with E40 and Jeezy.
It took him a total of fucking 30 seconds to figure out she wanted to be a drill instructor. Meanwhile, a fucking 11 months into the delayed entry program.
Hey, man.
And that's some fucking bullshit.
This is what we do.
Okay.
It's
So
the
back
first
to you.
impression.
Okay, so back to you. So, good. The first impressions are important.
Yes.
So, you obviously went through Paris Island. Now I want to get like way into it because not only were you a recruit in Paris Island, you was also a drill instructor in Paris Island, and then now you're a drill instructor in MCRD San Diego. So you're very special. Not only that, like you're one of the first amongst the first females, to be a drill instructor in MCRD San Diego. Yes. So it's very special. You've been through a lot of transitions in the Marine Corps specifically. So I want you, if you were to give one piece of advice, not as a drill instructor going in it like knowing what you know now, but Jasmine Penalo back in 2011, recruit Penalo, what piece of advice would you give to those females?
To those females.
As a recruit Penado, not drill instructor.
Recruit Penado to females in general.
To females in general that are in the delayed entry program, yes.
Okay, so the one that doesn't know zero, nothing.
No, zero, nothing.
Okay. I would say never give up. Never quit or give up. It will get hard. It will be difficult. It will be challenging because we're in the unknown and we're uncomfortable. And that's fine. Mm-hmm. Everything will be okay. But as long as you have that mentality of, I want to be that badass female and just do what I came here to do to serve my country, to get it done, do it. And don't let anybody ever tell you no or make you feel less than or you're not good enough. Just keep pushing, keep going, and never quit.
Follow-on question to that. When you were going through recruit training, how big was your platoon?
Ooh, like...
Do you remember? Like, it doesn't have to be...
58.
Okay, so like 50-ish.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you got to talk to them and meet them. What were some of the things that they were telling you? Like, what were some of their reasons for joining? Do you remember?
The recruits or my drill instructors?
No, the recruits.
The recruits. Some of them came from broken homes. Some of them were homeless. Some of them had lost their parents. Some of them were mothers and they needed it for their children. Some of them were single mothers and left their babies with their parents. There were a lot of different stories that hit home, and some of them had it all. and they just wanted to veer off of my parents give me everything in a golden spoon, and I just want to do something for myself.
Okay. 2 questions for you. Number 1, to the men and women out there that are on the fence, specifically the women. Mm-hmm. They're not sure if they want to join. What would you tell them?
Join. Me personally, if you tell me, I feel like everyone should go through the Marine Corps. That's just me.
It's an important question because 75% of America's youth would not join if they were asked today. And everyone's got their reasons, right? You're saying join. How can they, what are some things they can do to prepare to go to boot camp?
To prepare themselves. And I get all these questions on TikTok, and when I go on live, I try to spit out as much as I can, but not everybody makes the live.
Yeah.
I try to make as much videos as I can. I would say prepare, as in we all know the Marine Corps is physically demanding. There's physical standards, so that's already one. You don't have to be the best athlete, Olympian in the world, but be prepared to actually run, do some planks here and there, and get, I don't like saying the bare minimum because I strive for perfection, but run mentally, everyone's going to be defeated regardless if you think you're mentally strong or not. Because you will always be told you're not good enough. Why? Because we need to break you down and ensure that we build you back up to becoming that great Marine when you walk across that parade deck and you graduate. So I know that you're mentally strong when you hit the fleet by yourself, because you're not going to have me 24/7 by your side throughout your Marine Corps career. Yes, can I be your mentor and guide you? And when things get hard, you can text me or email me, whatever the case may be. Of course. But I would say have tough skin, have tough rhino skin, because a lot of young people nowadays are very soft and are very like, but why? Or, crying. That's fine. But at the end of the day, just know you're joining the Marine Corps. The Marine Corps, the baddest branch that's out there.
Are there people that you think shouldn't join? Like, you should have never been a Marine.
That's a good question right there.
Look, yes.
Yup.
There's some people, and I tell people this because some of my Marines still text me, and I'm like, look, even in my platoon in Parasign, some females slip through the cracks. I'm like, how did you make it? How did you make it? Why did you receive that Eagle Globe and Anchor? And when you think about it, even me as a senior drill instructor, when I tried dropping some females, because I'm like, this is not what I want the product to go into the fleet, because you're going to get somebody in trouble, or you're just going to make some shit up, and people's careers are going to go freaking left field.
What do you mean? Make some stuff up. Can we be more specific?
Yeah, like,
Are you talking sexual assault, sexual
sometimes
allegation?
Some kind of allegation of, let's be honest, some females don't like men talking down upon them, and they take it to where, oh, well, he called me a bitch and a HOE.
Because here's the thing, I took a lot of heat for that recently because I reposted Cody's video, and he's explaining that, the military is not really set up for false allegations. We are totally set up to take care of actual real victims. There was a lot of women that were triggered, and they came at me like, how dare you? This guy sounds like an idiot. And he's only explaining the law. And the reason they were upset was because I'm trying to basically explain to people, hey guys, 2 things can be true at the same time. There are a lot of unfortunate victims out there, but there are false allegations. So I'm glad that you brought that up from a woman's perspective.
But to touch up a little bit more on that, it's kind of like going back to the subject that we were talking about with Master Gunnery Sergeant Jones, right?
Yeah.
We talk about this, and that kind of minimizes the victims. The real victims are out there, which they are way more real victims than what they are sexual, than what they are false allegations.
It is a landslide.
So that's why, it is a subject of conversation, but we cannot minimize, the real cases just because, or look at it from that lens, just because we had out of 10 cases, only one case was questionable, or out of 100 cases, 2 cases.
Well, my point is not to minimize. What I'm saying is I agree with Cody that in the military we need to do a better job of educating our people on the law.
Yes.
That's not happening. And if people actually knew what the law was, there might be less false allegations. I just talked to a Marine. So this is relevant because I just talked to a Marine. He contacted me. This he's in therapy. He's got like some serious freaking PTSD. His whole career and life was on hold for over a year. Everything fell out. Totally false.
He texted me too.
Totally false allegations, all this stuff, and you feel bad and it happens. But you're right. You are right, Albert. It's a landslide.
Yeah, remember we talked about him. He texted me too. Yeah, so this guy texted us, and he literally was kicked out of the Marine Corps because of an allegation. Fully kicked out. Then he took it to the courts of appeals, and then they found out there was false allegation. They made him come inside of the military again, only to retire in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, this is crazy. Yeah, that's just crazy. We need to bring
it. And it happens though, right? And I see a lot of people ask me that question too.
Yeah.
Right. And it's a very opinionated question because some people are not going to like what we have to say.
Yeah.
But in reality, what is real?
Well, that's why I say two things. You just got to come to the realization two things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
Me saying that there's false allegations does not mean that there are not very legitimate ones.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And I know I'm putting you on the spot here, to the young women that are out there. Mm-hmm. Who would you say, you're not the one? If this is you, you're probably not the one.
They know who I'm talking about. If they're seeing me and they've been my recruit, you exactly know who I'm talking about. Because I've told them myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. I told them
myself. It's like, hold on.
And you know what I told them? I'm like, listen, and this sounds crazy because, I'm not ashamed of training my female recruits. But like I told them, don't ever say I was your senior drill instructor. And maybe I failed on my behalf, but there's no failing on my behalf.
We'll probably get a couple of those comments.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no failing on my behalf because at the end of the day, I tried to the best of my ability, and for some reason, you didn't want to conform to the Marine Corps standards, and you did not want to adapt.
Look at her hands, guys.
And then,
she's serious.
On top of that,
she is serious right now, dog.
On top of that, I get over here the attrition rate. The attrition rate.
Yeah.
I don't give two about your attrition rate.
Sure.
But it's one of those things where now my hands are tied.
Can I tell you though why that is? Part of the reason I'm going to tell you from a bigger Marine Corps 50,000 foot perspective.
Yes.
Because they are counting on the Jasmines and the Abes to train them after the fact.
Right.
You met the bare minimum. You got the bare. You're awesome. You're awesome. You're awesome. Right? Everybody's Marines. Right? You want the most hardcore, harder than woodpecker lips. We all want it, right?
Yeah.
But they meet the bare minimum. Big Marine Corps is counting on you. Make their pull-ups better. Make them more educated. Help them understand what motivation is, discipline, ambition, drive, right? Lifelong learning. That's your responsibility. And we don't like to hear it all the time. And I totally understand what you're saying. Do women at Parris Island, drill instructors, okay? Number one, that one female who made the video talking about if you get pregnant on your first enlistment, you need to get ADCEPT. Okay.
Was she a drill instructor?
Yes. Hell yeah. She was PI, all PIDI. What's up?
Shit's whack.
Do female drill instructors tell female recruits that you're either going to be a bitch, a slut, or a lesbian?
Whoa. So, not really a lesbian, but I said
what word do they use? Was there another word?
I don't even bring that up, honestly. I don't even say you're going to be gay. But I mean, like I said in the last podcast, and I seen someone you guys interviewed that was like, it's called professionalism, right? To me, I'm honest. Why? Because my drill instructors told me this ever since I was a recruit. Either you're a BITCH or a HOE. You pick and choose. A lot of people don't like hearing that, right? They're like, oh my gosh, how can you be cussing on live and whatever? No, it's honest. That's just my true opinion. Either you carry yourself as a professional and, hey, boundaries. What do you need? How may I help you? Or you're that female that's like, hey, what's up? Like, we can get it in, and it's reality.
And then the thing is also, you're not really being a bitch. You just hold that's someone else's perspective of you because you're drawing those boundaries because you stand out. So that's just, you're not actually a bitch. That's just their assumption of you, or that's their perspective on you. But really, like, they can go fuck themselves.
Well, that's why I did that one video, and I was like, because it's like, what was it? If I don't flirt with you, it doesn't make me a bitch. It's like, no, it doesn't make you that, but it's like, it also doesn't give you a license to be one either. It's like sometimes we use this as a license to like be a legitimate jerk.
Yeah.
And you just go, you just can't handle a strong woman. It's like, No, you're being a dick.
Yeah, no, there's a difference. Don't get
Yeah.
me wrong, there's a difference because I used to get told this a lot, even by higher leadership at Paris Island.
Yeah.
Why don't you ever smile? Why do you always have a RBF? First of all, I'm a drill instructor. What do I need to be? What's so funny at the fact that I'm struggling?
Ha, she said.
Hee, ha, ha.
I feel like she had some recruits do that. Okay, good. Look in the mirror. Look in the mirror, recruit. Right? It's so funny. You know, right? For freaking, and the recruits in there like, you know what I'm saying? She's got all the hot water on, dumping bleach, fucking fabuloso towels everywhere.
Ammonia?
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Alligated on herself, guys. I'm retired, homies. Hey, what's up?
Kidding.
Okay, so
But it happens.
okay, so going back to you, Abe. Whenever you came into the Marine Corps, recruit Abe, all of a sudden is now. What state did you go to once you came back?
Michigan.
So you went to Michigan. Okay,
So you
obviously,
went from the heat of Egypt.
yes.
Yeah,
And you were 19. You were 19 when you joined.
Yes.
Okay, so 5 years later, after you get back to this, after you come home through the States, your only interaction is with, mostly I would say, is with Michigan. You know, and what your view of the United States is Michigan, and then now all of a sudden you are in MCRD. What is it? San Diego. You're in MCRD San Diego around
God's country.
all this other fucking group of people
Yeah.
that you'd be like, what the fuck is this, right? How was that experience for you coming from another country?
Honestly, I didn't even know we got paid in the military, to be honest.
Damn.
He was really down for the cause. You know
yeah,
what
you
I mean?
were just down for
I
it.
just want to
Like
be a
me,
drill
and,
instructor.
me and Jasmine were like, yeah. Get paid, motherfucker.
I was just there. I ran like a 60-minute 3 miles. So I was
Hello.
just like, my drill instructor was like, oh, fuck you, you ran a 300 PFT, you're going to ITU, whatever. But I was just like, oh, that's part of it, whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think being from Egypt, because like my accent used to be so bad back then.
Can you give us a good like rendition, like impersonation?
I can't even do it. Like, yeah.
Just do it.
I've never tried. You know?
like,
Just do what she knows. She knows. You're like, just do what you.
I don't know. So, like, I can't even think about it. Like, now I'm on the spot. I can't even like do one.
No, just say thank you. Come again.
Wow. Wow. I already said he doesn't know the 7-Eleven.
I could be like, shit. Let me think. Habibi, why you do that? Why you do that, Habibi? But it was just so different. So the first question when someone met me, like, where are you from?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is Osama bin Laden your uncle? You know?
So
Really?
you
They
go
used to
from
say that shit?
Egypt, everybody looks like you in Egypt, and then you go to Michigan,
No, a little
the
bit.
snow is white, the people are white,
Yeah, that shit was
everybody's white and stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you were over there with Eminem. And everything else, but even still though, B-Rabbit, and there was, you know.
and that's the thing. So that was always like an icebreaker. The first thing I always got, where are you from? Oh, I'm from Egypt. And that just always became a
Yeah, we're
conversation.
thinking about
Okay.
sphinxes. We're
Yeah.
thinking about deserts.
Do you live in a pyramid?
You know,
Like, do you have a
exactly.
camel?
You know, in Alaska they got igloos. In Egypt they got pyramids. That's amazing. What a, oh my gosh.
So that was always like the icebreaker. Like,
So, what
it
did
was
you?
never really, like, weird.
How was it with your drill instructors? Like, I want to know what were some of the shit that your drill instructors used to tell you? Because you know they capitalize on that shit.
I loved being a boot camp, and I have no bearing. To this day, I have no.
What company were you in?
India.
Okay.
So to this day, even
Did
though
you
I'm
remain
recruits,
insane?
I remain insane.
Okay. She's like, no, they say that. They're like, remain insane.
Yes.
Hi.
So, but I mean, two of them barely spoke English, so they couldn't tell me shit. So they couldn't understand me. I couldn't understand them. I was just
Yeah,
like,
the new-
acting-
you know,
they were
the-
Mexican.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, well, the
okay.
fourth, I was probably trying to talk to you. Hey, this is tough.
He got sat down.
Oh, did he really? Wow.
I mean, now
Well, he looked tired.
Now I know he got sat down, but like then I didn't know. I was like, oh, he's on a course or something. But
He's in a course. Yeah, he's in a course.
that's what senior. That's what our senior said. But what was the question again?
How was your experience in boot camp coming from another country?
Oh, I was the only foreign one. I think there was a Jewish kid in my platoon. Racist as fuck.
Yeah.
Like his name is Straver. If you're out there, I'm gonna find you. Anyways, so he hated me because I was Egyptian. He was like, "Those are our pyramids." I was like, "Bitch, fuck you. They're in Egypt." Like, how are you feeling?
Here we go. We're gonna start World War III here in this podcast over here.
Yeah, those are our pyramids. You're like,
Egyptian Marine calls out all Jews.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my
I would have just been like, I would have just been like, I feel like we're a sovereign nation with actual borders. If you want it, you got to come for it. And I'm just doing the quick math.
Find a way to take it. I was like, the person that built the fucking Empire State Building, you're like, that's my building, you know? No, it's a working party. Anyways,
what was day one like though on the quarterdeck? You know,
I was so happy to be there because I was like, these are the drone. This is what I'm gonna be one day. Drone instructor Sasha Miller at the time was my senior drone instructor, and he was just intense. He had a really good balance. So I was trying not to smile during the drone instructor speech or the senior drone instructor speech because I was so excited. So I got so fucked up so many times in boot camp for smiling.
what does that mean? When you say you got messed up, Abe? What?
I just got IT'd.
Incentive training.
3:30
and 3.
There was a time I left my foot locker unlocked. I was on the quarterdeck for God knows how long.
Oh,
Well,
3:30 and 3. We're not making
3:30 and
allegations.
3 drill instructors.
Okay.
Guys.
They're probably out now.
Okay, so then they
we
were
can
hitting
just-
you.
Now, something.
Did you even empty your pockets?
Yes.
Okay,
My
your.
pro holes came off.
Did you
too.
take your port holes off? I was
Yeah.
just gonna say.
There you go. Okay.
So something very interesting about you is, you know, your goal from day zero when you were in the delayed entry program and you saw that drone instructor in the delayed entry program was to be a drone instructor. You went to boot camp. You were smiling because you were so excited to be there. Now
He said he almost smiled.
and now.
But San Diego, the drill sergeant scared him and he didn't want to smile, so he didn't.
No, basically,
he said
I'm not
almost.
even gonna say. I'm outnumbered
Oh,
today.
okay.
So I'm just gonna
He
go.
didn't say it.
My third hat, he was Angus, you super motherfucker. I see you smile from a mile away. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna this. I'll just start emptying my pockets automatically.
So
Okay.
now I want to ask you guys a quick question for you. I know you're MOS, but for the cameras, what was your
An 0612, which is field wireman by trade, and then
Wire dog?
and then it became an 0631, which is network administrator.
Okay, so you go to MCT, you go to MOS school in beautiful 29 Palms. For those of you guys that don't know where 29 Palms is, research it up. It's a beautiful place in the desert. It's like an oasis, okay?
Think Palm Springs.
Yeah, Palm Springs, lots of water. There's actually even a lake there.
There's a lake there.
Beautiful lake there, okay?
You jump in.
Okay, so you go there, man, and most people, most brand new Marines, PFCs, Lance Corporals, by that time when they get, it was like, my recruiter didn't tell me I was gonna be in the desert. They'll be like, man, fuck the Marine Corps. You know, like, what kept you motivated all of this time for you to like literally fulfill your mission in the Marine Corps?
Picturing that belt and campaign cover. So from day one, ever since I graduated boot camp, I never let go of the basics. And I always tell this to my recruits, never let go of the basics. That shit you learn how you were taught to roll your sleeves, starch your cover, how you carry yourself, how you block
Wait a
some-
minute. Did you say starch? Your cover?
I do starch my cover or I
The
use hairspray.
washing instructions, right? Marines don't follow any
I
Marine
know.
quarters. They don't follow Marine quarters, but you guys follow the washing instructions. You can't have starch in there.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
I'll put some starch and stuff.
I'll starch it.
But hold on, because you were a comm Marine, and comm Marines, they get no love, but they're out there hazing each other, and it starts right away in school. Don't you dare deny it. 29 Palms. These guys are out there doing weird stuff. So the question is, you got MOSs that are like that. Comm, and from my experience, very high strung. Like what Albert's saying, how did you maintain that, you know, for all those years? And then you're like, I'm gonna, you know, because there's a lot of Marines that lose steam. You wanted to do it from day one. You wanted to do it from day one, right? And then you show up to your first unit, toxic.
Yes.
How was your first unit experience? I guess that's what we're trying
I
to
was
get
in
to.
7th Comm.
Hello.
Camp Hanson, Okinawa.
Oh.
Keep in mind, I'm a good kid. I don't drink. I had just turned 20, so I am of drinking age. But I think being in Okinawa and having that, like, I had a really good platoon sergeant. He was my mentor.
You remember who he was?
Yes, he's now Staff Sergeant Saldivar. I just talked to him not too long ago, actually. But he got me on the meritorious board to pick up corporal. I remember I had just picked up Lance Corporal. We were in Korea, and I went to him. I was like, Sergeant. He was a scary dude, but he always looked squared away. a little bit of PTSD, whatever, helped him out. And I was just like, Sergeant, like I want to be, a meritorious corporal. Like I think if you mentor me, if you give me the tools, I can build something, and I can be that, And then he started guiding me from there. But I honestly think what kept me motivated is like I just never lost sight of the goal. And I was like, if I fall into the bad habits that I never blended in the comp community, by the way. But when I dropped my MEOP contract, my only options to ship as soon as I can were admin or comm. Mm-hmm. One of the recruiters was a radio guy. He went Iraq, Afghanistan, initial push, to like whatever.
Sure.
So I was like, that sounds dope as fuck, And I get my order. It says 0612. I was like, what the fuck is a wire dog, And then go to the schoolhouse, and then get trained in that. Go to 7th comm. My MOS changes to 0631. Network administrator. I don't even know how to change settings on a computer, So failed every class I got sent to, but I was just like, I just have to be that good. Like, if I'm going to be an NCO, I have to be good at my job. I have to, my lead by example and credibility as a leader are my biggest things. I was like, I can't, even if I hate this, I just got to do it. I was like, one day I'm going to be a drill instructor. So I tell my recruits, like, how I am with them at recruit training is exactly how I was in the fleet. Yeah. I had no problem blasting Marines for being dumb shit. I had no problems kicking Marines out for not having haircuts, not having good uniforms. I had no problem with that. And my thing was like, I'm going to build the habits now. So when I get to the depot, it's not a mental or like a cultural shock for me. Yes, it's going to be demanding, but I'm already physically fit. I already have those habits in me. So I don't have to build that. All I have to worry about is being that drill
instructor. But what you're saying is like, man, I've been saying that my freaking whole life. It's like, don't lose sight of the goal.
Yes.
Yep. Why did you join? What do you have your sights set on? You're good. We are all going to encounter problems. We can all agree on that. It's not about the problem. It's about how we handle it, how we endure. What did you say? Never quit, never give up, keep going, believe in yourself. Find a freaking mentor that believes in you too. Somebody that you look up to, that you respect, right? And then what I see, and I know you guys see it too, you guys have been in the Marine Corps for a long time. Not everybody can do that.
And manifest it. I used to say in my car when I was a sergeant on Pendleton, I used to say in my car, and I would, try to sing cadence. I would try to scream. My company gunnery sergeant at the time, he was a prior. He gave me the teach backs. So I would learn those. I learned the senior drill instructor speech, and I would like try to scream and try to build a demeanor. Literally in my car.
So you really were a senior the whole time.
Sugar.
You guys, Abe, he's Sugar Shack, guys. Abe just dips his finger in his coffee and it dissolves. And that's you guys can steal that, but that's a good Hazer comment that I kept in my heart.
But then I also like look at like I would think back of like F1. What did we do? Okay, war bags online, war bags whatever.
Sure.
And I'll be in my car screaming like war bags alive, ready move 54 down. Like I'm counting down. I'm learning that.
Yeah, 200.
Yeah. Can you guys please get online? 10,
See, this is a drill instructor. This is what we do to each other, right? Because everything that you do in recruit training, the recruits have a number. When you get experienced, no matter what the task is that you give a recruit, you have a number that you usually pick in your head, right? Yep. Hey, if I'm going to have you put on your trousers, I'm not going to start from 200.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no.
Because you'll look dumb as a new hat, right? Like, boots, get them on right now, whatever, ready, move. And then you're like 15, 40, 13, 12, 11. And then none of the recruits, they're going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to stand up and get at the POA.
Because they're not going to make it.
I know I'm not going to make it, right?
Yeah.
So when you gain that experience, as a drill instructor, you're like, you have that number in your head. So
and then I would count myself down. So I'll be getting ready in the morning.
Wow.
And I will start counting myself down to see how.
This is hardcore.
How counts.
This is very hardcore.
I would just manifest it. So obviously my biggest flaws when I was on the school, not loud enough, right?
Well, because you're not.
Yeah.
No one ever is.
But my the two things that worked out for me was my demeanor and my fluidity. But that's because I would just practice in my car. As a young sergeant, as a corporal, I would just be in my car like, dude,
they used to tell us when you're practicing cadence, practice with the windshield wipers. Left, right, left. Did they still say that?
No.
Okay, so now I look stupid. Thanks, Thanks Abe. Abe left me hanging.
They do.
Because I've been playing drums for years now, so to me, like 112, I just, I can just hit it. And then I show up to the depot and I was like, damn, Bobby does nothing with drill. Like I can't even, I don't sing cadence. I don't do none of that. So.
Well, what did you do?
Hard 7.
First of all, what's a Bobby?
A Bobby's a brand new drill instructor.
Why do they say Bobby?
So we call them Bobbies because we have Scoop, which is like a meeting during the evening every night to discuss the training plan for the next day. And like when you're a brand new drill instructor, like you're just not used to it. and that's the first time like your body like actually rests, and you're in a meeting with your little note-taking gear like.
Yeah. Well, it actually, the term Bobby comes from a show back in the day, and it was sort of like a love connection type show. When the host was called, I'm not kidding you, his name was Robert. It was like, oh my gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. It was, but it's a play on words.
Yeah.
It's a play on words, right? But like Newhart. His last name was Newhart, so it was like Bobby Newhat, Robert Newhart, right? So you're like Bobby the Newhat. So then they just said Bobby, or they say Buddy all the time. They would say Buddy, hey Buddy to the recruits.
That's why I call my war bag.
Yeah, hey Buddy.
Come here, mijo.
Come here, buddy.
So now I want to ask this last question, and then we're gonna do a part 2 of the podcast. But I want to ask this last question. What was your first duty station?
Miramar.
Okay, so you were stationed in Miramar. And then I'm guessing that it was during your second enlistment that you were considering doing a B-billet.
No. I'm telling you, as soon as I graduated, I'm like, what is it going to take to become a drone instructor and come back to parasailing?
Okay.
So literally,
Did people look at you weird though? Because we all know what a motard is.
Well, you know what's so
you
crazy?
show up, you're brand new, and you're just like, I want to be a DI.
Yeah.
And they're looking at you like,
Here goes another one.
Well, they did ask me for my goals, and you know, sometimes when you don't go to a unit that's not motivated, they're looking at you like, that's that oddball, that's that weird person, you know.
Here we go.
Yeah.
But luckily, one of my NCOs, and because we were in the warehouse, we would sing cadence all the time.
Yeah.
And he wanted to be a drill instructor as well. So
now we know why we can't get our supplies.
So he was motarded. I was motarded. So it just made me feel like, okay, like goals, like keep your eyes on that prize of us wanting to go back. So yeah, I just feel like it depends on your unit too, and who you get as an
climate,
NCO.
the culture.
Yes.
So, okay. So, my question to be a little bit more specific is, when was the time that you were like, I'm gonna put in my package, and how was that process for you?
As a corporal, because they were telling me, hey, as a corporal, as soon as you pick up NCO, you can go back and become a drill instructor. As a corporal, I tried submitting a package, and they're like, hey, you just got promoted, you can't do it. Like, you can do it when you're like close to picking up sergeant, you know, and they'll promote you there. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna wait maybe max. In my MOS, we don't get promoted fast.
So how long had you been in the Marine Corps at this point when you had just picked up corporal, roughly?
3 years.
Okay.
So I was meritoriously promoted to sergeant in 4 years. And that's when I called the monitor actually. And I'm like, hey, can I drop my package? Because I had came back from UDP. And I'm like, man, I know I'm about to get orders. I've always said I will dictate my own future. I will never have anyone else dictate it for me.
Real quick.
Yes.
Did you get in trouble for calling your monitor? Because there's a lot of people, we know how that goes, right?
So I knew that could have been a thing, but
you just went for it.
no offense, I didn't trust my staff NCOs at the time to do it for me.
Okay.
And I've been a firm believer.
Because we all know that in certain MOSs,
yes,
if I don't go to staff sergeant
Yes.
and he goes to gunny, who goes to
Yes.
top, who goes
Yes.
to master guns,
yes,
who calls the monitor,
yes.
you're getting your teeth kicked in.
It's always
could be a
frowned
whole nother
upon.
topic.
It's always
That's
frowned
some fucking
upon.
bullshit.
But luckily, I was very involved with the unit, color guard, everything. And I let my staff NCO know. He was new, so I was like,
Sure.
hey, I'm going to call my monitor. And you know, he was like, yeah, go on right ahead. So I was like, okay, if you don't want to do it for me, I gave you the opportunity. I'm going to take it upon myself. And I'm going to give him a call. Because regardless, I'm going to leave and go somewhere. And you're not the one that's going to pick for me and say, oh, well, she's going to Lejeune.
Yeah, well, I can tell you where it comes from. It's because as a leader, you don't want to get blindsided. Like, dang, I didn't know she was on that outbound. When did that happen,
Yeah.
right? And then you're like, oh yeah, I called the monitor. So, there's just communication is all I'm saying, but I just wanted to bring it up because it's a real thing.
But what helped was that I was in transition. So I was in a UDP with the squadron. Squadron had no impact, no idea of my monitor.
They didn't care.
My first sergeant did not give two. They're like, girl, go back to your unit, right? New staff sergeant, me coming in, so he doesn't know me, but they're like, oh my gosh, Panato's back, warehouse chief, whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. Everybody was new, so I was like, look, no one knows me. So I'm going to take this opportunity, staff sergeant. I'm going to call my monitor because I might get orders here soon. He's like, yeah, go ahead. Whatever. It is what it is. Called him up and I was like, hey, this is Corporal such and such. Master Gunner Sergeant, I'm going on a meritorious sergeant board. Can you get me sergeant orders? He's like, how do you know you're going to win? I was like, well, because I know. Like, deep down, I believe in myself and I know. He's like, how about you call me when you're a meritorious sergeant? I was like, okay. 3 days later, this is Sergeant Pinato. Can I get orders now?
I would have been impressed though. I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
Yeah.
I love his response, but go ahead.
I know
Yeah,
this is gonna piss people off, and I always say this.
Now I'm
I
ready
don't
to be
care.
pissed.
I don't care, right? That's one thing that pissed me off in the Marine Corps is like, you don't care about your, like some staff and COs, a lot of them actually, you don't care about your Marines' personal life, how their family's doing, and all this trash. But the moment something happens that may question your ability as a leader, then you get pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the moment
Because
like
of
someone,
hire.
the moment someone calls a monitor without telling you because they have no trust and confidence in
Abe,
you.
you know why that is? It's because it's not about you. It's really about me. I need to get promoted.
Exactly, and
Amen.
I'm a kid.
And that's what it is, though.
Amen.
I mean, I'm making light of a situation that
Yeah.
and it's a serious one though, because it's
But I'm gonna tell you, there's two types of people really, because I was the opposite. I was the complete opposite of that. Okay, I always tell this to my Marines, and maybe it's not the right answer, but my Marines always appreciate it when I told them this. It's like, I care about your career. I don't care about your career more than what you care about your career.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you do what you got to do.
Let me ask you.
And don't ask me for permission for something that's going to affect your career.
Let me ask you, how did you get there, you know? Like, was there something that happened to you where maybe you got tired of something, you got fed up? What was it?
Not really. I mean, it was just really like recruiting duty. I used to be, man, it's just that I used to be two extremes of two different type of Marines, man. Like, I had several personalities in the Marine Corps, man, to be honest, before I went on recruiting duty. So I was like that, because the way that I got brought up is you have to be pissed off. If you want to be a successful NCO, successful corporal, successful sergeant, you need to chew. Like, you need to be a drill instructor in
A bulldog.
You know, you have to be a bulldog, and you have to fucking chew Marine sass if you want to. If you don't chew Marine sass, you are a fucking shitbag. And then, so I come from that, and then I transition into DMO, which is the complete different of that. And then I was like, where do I find myself? You know? And then it wasn't until I came to and then I thought that it was cool, you know, to simply like let certain things from Marines slide. And in reality, neither of those two extremes is okay. The extremes of the like, and that's what I learned in recruiting duty. What I learned on recruiting duty is like, listen, man, like, each individual have their unique circumstances, and you won't know what their circumstance is until you listen to that fucking individual.
I think there's something to be said. I love your mentality. When you said that, the first thought I had was like, hey, like, we're all adults. We're not holding hands over here.
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. However, I've met some amazing leaders. Shout out to Sergeant Major Curtis Rice. He actually got promoted to Sergeant Major in Foxborough, where the Patriots play.
Oh wow.
That's cool.
And he's always been an amazing mentor and a friend, but he credits his NCO for his financial freedom, because his NCO literally, he was a Lance Corporal, and his corporal lied to him and was like, we're going to go get chow. And instead of taking him to go get chow, he like took him to like some financial advisor thing and set him up for success. And then literally as a sergeant major, he's like crediting this guy because he's like, oh, I just paid cash for all these solar panels. And he told me this whole big story. I thought it was really cool. You know, I've had that situation happen. You know, when I was a sergeant major, I told one of my Marines, they're sitting there talking to me, and I just, one of my things is like, Marines will always tell you, you can't make me do this, you can't make me do that, you can't make me go to college. No, I can't make you go to college, but I can damn sure make you go get a counseling from the education office.
Right.
So leave, because we're done talking, all right? Go get the counseling, you come back, and then we'll talk on this day at this time. You got 2 minutes and 37 seconds. Text me when you get. I would always give them something off like that because they'd never forget it, right?
Yeah.
And I got Marines, several of them. Now they have bachelor's, master's degrees, because you know they weren't thinking about it, and I didn't want to make them go to college. It was about make the decision with the damn information, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And we're gonna go to part 2 of this conversation, guys, because now the purpose of this podcast for today, guys, was to see three in reality very unique perspectives, and we wanted to talk to you guys about, you know, the different perspectives of our Marine Corps, and essentially let you know how we can guide you to go to the common denominator, which is how to be a successful drill instructor. So make sure that you guys like, follow, and share this page right now. And Barry, where can people reach out to you at?
You guys know where it's at, man. IG at Bull5277, TikTok at Bull52772. Click the link in my bio. The call is free. The change will last you a lifetime.
Jasmine, where can people reach out to you at?
My Instagram, Jay's World, and my TikTok is Jay's Fit, also Jay's World.
Awesome. Abe, where can people reach out?
My Instagram is Angusa, Angusa. It's not Angus. And my TikTok, Egyptian 103, like Egyptian but with an M.
Egyptian
You get
103.
a gym.
Egyptian.
Guys, make sure that you guys like, follow, and subscribe. And as you guys always know, you guys can reach out to me by simply commenting on this video, sharing this content, and subscribing. Go to the link in my bio. Schedule a call. Let's talk about it so that we can connect you with the right mentors. And I will see you guys in the second part.
Peace.